in Australia, and welcome to my weekly online class to go. So this week's class is featuring the Delicate Pines bundle, and for those who aren't familiar with the online class, if you spend $75 or more in my online store between now and the end of Saturday night, I will send you the kits to make 2 each of the 3 cards that we're going to be making in tonight's class. Now, a couple of things to note for this week in particular. One is there is free shipping starting tomorrow for 3 days. So Wednesday to Friday of this week, there is free shipping if you spend over the minimum amount, which I think from memory is $65. I know it's definitely, if you are placing an order for the online class, you'll meet the threshold, so that's fine. The other thing is, you may or may not know, at the moment for the month of October, Stampin' Up! Have an awesome starter kit offer. So normally for $169 you can choose $235 worth of product. For October it is only $60 and you get $235 worth of product. There is also another option where for $169 you get $344 worth of product. Either way, it is a fantastic deal. For anyone who is concerned about trying to choose between the starter kit, because it is such a fantastic deal, and getting the online class for this week, please just email me. All my team members get the tutorials for all my classes for free anyway, but if you are concerned, trying to decide, please just reach out and we can have a chat about that. All right, let's get into it. So these are the 3 cards for this week, and the stamp set from the bundle is Delicate Pines, and then the dies that coordinate with that are here. So you've got heaps of dies in this one. So you've got dies to cut out all of the images from the stamp set. And then you've also got some extra ones as well. And then the paper, the Designer Series paper that goes with this, I love this paper. And this originally was not on my list, but it is stunning. Like these ones in particular, the really dark, so it's got Secret Sea. It really works. I love this paper, and I wasn't even going to get it originally. So let's pull some of them out. I'm not very good at doing this on camera. I haven't got a lot of space here. But so you've got snowflakes, you've got the leaves, and then you've got the ones with the Secret Sea. Where's that hiding? It's hiding behind me. Need to be able to get these all back in. Let's get the rest of these out, and this is one where these papers look a lot better in person than in the catalogue. So if you sort of looked at them in the catalogue and like, well, online exclusives I think for these ones, it looks even better. Way better in person, which does happen with a lot of papers. They are stunning in person. All right, let's get these out of the way. I will clean that or tidy that up later. So just want to get it back in enough that I don't destroy it. All right, we will start with this one. So for this one, we are using a Cherry Cobbler card base, and oh my, let me just just going to check. My camera possibly appears to have frozen. Nope, it's all good. Just, it looked like it had frozen, but that's all right. So, cherry cobbler card base, and then, so I've used some of the two-tone cardstock for the die cut leaves. We only need 2 of these. I've got some extras. I was cutting different colours with and different sides of different colours, trying to decide which ones I wanted to use. I've got some of the traditional labels dies that we will use for the sentiment, some basic white for the insert, and some shaded spruce and designer series paper. So this is really quick and easy to put together. So let's just do the stamping first. So I've used a few different sentiments, or a few different stamp sets for these sentiments this week. So this one is from Jolly Holly. So I'll just quickly show you, this is that one. So I'm just using the bright and happy Christmas wishes. And we are going with cherry cobbler. And that one. So we're just going to go in the middle of the basic white sentiment label. Okay, let's put that to the side for the moment. So that is all the stamping for this one. And I will bring my silicone sheet in, double check that I've cut the paper to the correct size. Yes, I have. So this one, there's border at the sides, but not top and bottom. Alrighty. And I don't seem to have that very straight. Let's fix that up. Push it down a bit. This is why I like the green glue, because I've got that little bit extra time. That should be okay. It's a little higher than I'd like, but it'll be fine. Alright, let's get that down. So there's no ribbon on this one, so I don't need to tie any ribbon down. Actually, there's no ribbon on any of these cards for this week. But there is bling. There is always bling. Gotta have bling. Alrighty. So this one also runs top to bottom, so there's no border at the top or the bottom. And we will stick this one down. And actually, before I do that, because I do want to have, so this is going to sit to the side slightly, and I do want one of the leaves is going to go behind, so behind the basic white label, and then the other one's going behind there. So let's just stick that down. Actually, I'll chuck a bit more on the back of that just so it's going to sit a bit better. That's about right. Let's move it across ever so slightly. Now we can glue this one down. And just adjust slightly, bring it across a bit more. Alright, that will do. And then, so I'm actually going to, because this I'm going to pop up on dimensional, so I'm going to stick this behind before I pop it up. So I've got it where I want it. And then all we have to do is add dimensionals. And the other advantage of sticking the leaves down before you put all the dimensionals on is you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to have a dimensional blocking where you want the leaf to sit, because it's already on and you can stick the dimensionals over the top. Alrighty, get all those backings off, and this, I'll move this out of the way, don't need that for now. We are going to stick this, so just make sure it doesn't run over the score line, but just off to the side slightly. And then I'm going to use the faceted snowflakes, and so I'm going to put one down there, and then I'm going to grab a few of the smaller ones and that's probably enough for that one. This is a nice simple card. So all that is left is to add the insert. Get that down. Fold that over, and we are done. Card number one, nice and quick and easy. Alrighty, on to the second one, which is also a nice, quick and easy. Tiny bit more involved than the other one, but it's still fairly quick and easy. So this one's stepped up a little bit. So we are using a Pretty Peacock base, and then let me find my kit. Just move those out of the way, don't need those for now. So then we have some basic white for the insert. We have some Pretty Peacock embossed with the Birchwood embossing folder, and this is a full-size card front, so it's the same size. There's no border on that one. And then one of a textured notes die cut and some DSP to fit in that. Some more die cut leaves. Again, I've got more than I need for this one, so I use the two-tone again for these ones, and then sentiment label. So I've used the same smaller one but a different outer one, and we'll just trim that off. I think do have to be careful with, oh, here got my scissors. You do have to be careful with this particular one because it is it's quite fine, the edges, and it can easily sort of get torn or catch on things. So I'm just going to trim that off so it doesn't cause any issues. So that should be fine. I think it's a little thin around one edge, but that's all right. All right, let's do the stamping first. So for the sentiment, I am using the pine tree trimmings. So just the sending Christmas wishes, and of course you can use the ones in the Snowflakes Delicate Pines stamp set, or any other stamp set that you have. You don't have to use these ones. And I'm using Pretty Peacock ink for this one. So we'll do this. I forgot my Pretty Peacock, well, probably just needs re-inking. So that's that. And then I'm using one of the tiny little sort of three branch ones, and I'm gonna ink it up, but then I'm gonna stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp right in the corner there. Well, it's not really a corner because it's round, but, and then same on the other side, so stamp off and come down to that corner there. And that is that. Let's, seeing as I've got these here and I want to move that one out of the way and avoid damaging it because it is a little fine around the edges. And I just don't want it getting caught on anything while I put the rest of this together. Alrighty, let's put that over there. I'll bring these back in. So first thing, we will adhere the embossed cardstock. Just double check that I have cut it to the right side. Size, not side. Okay, and that is not the one I need. I want my silicone mat, just in case the adhesive ends up where I don't want it. And then we'll just slide that along, make sure it's make sure everything is fully covered. That's looking pretty good. All right, then we will adhere these together. Oops. So it fits nicely in there, and then we want this one to go in the middle, and I've just realized that my sentiment piece, I was planning to do similar to what I did with my first card, where I had one of the leaves behind the basic white sentiment label and the other one behind the cherry cobbler, but I've stuck it down. But we'll see what we can do. So that's going to go there. Pop it up. Can I? Oh, I've still got. I think I have just enough time to get this down, hopefully. I can just peel this back. Just be careful if you're doing this that you're not tearing the outside part, because that's yeah, that bit is, it's similar to sort of this, where it's not completely attached. It does pull off, so you just want to be careful you don't go too far with that one. But that is looking fine. Now I want one of the pale ones, and that will sit behind. That's only just going to sit behind there, so I might wait to do that one. Let's add dimensionals to this one, and we'll get this stuck down, and then we can slip the second piece in and make sure it sticks once we've got this one down. So just get all those backings off, and this one I'm actually going to move slightly so that I do have a bit of space. So this one we will stick down in the middle there, and then this one we want to sit behind there, so that should be fine. I'll just add a little bit of adhesive to make sure it sticks, because you know I like to make sure everything is well stuck down. I don't like loose bits flapping around on my cards. I like everything to be secure. Oh. So we'll get that one behind there, and just adjust, not that far out, about there. I think that looks better, and then all that is left is Well, let's do the insert, seeing as I've got my silicone sheet out. Move that out of the way now. Okay, get that down. And then we just need some embellishments. So I'm going with the same ones again, the snowflakes, and I'm going with mostly the red cherry cobbler on this one. I can't remember, did I use, no I didn't. Couldn't remember if I had used any of the Pretty Peacock ones, but I didn't on this one. That's okay. Alrighty, so that is the second one. So pretty quick and easy, just a little more stepped up than the first one. So now we come to this one. Just move some of this out of the way. So this one I have used a shaded spruce card base, and then hi Dimity, thank you for joining. Nice to see you. Alrighty, so shade spruce card base. Actually, there is ribbon on this one. Forgot about that. Cherry cobbler, which I've embossed with the Forever Plaid embossing folder. I have some gold foil, some of the Regal's 6x6 designer series paper, and that's right, I need to, yes, when I was cutting my sample pieces I cut ever so slightly incorrect, so I had to adjust these ones to make sure I still had enough. So I just need to make sure that that goes the right way. And then I have stamped the snowflake, but I'm going to show you. So this one I have stamped just in shaded spruce, but I'm going to show you a technique using the daubers if you want to get multiple colors on the one image. So I will do that in a sec. And then we'll do the sentiment, and we've got the basic white for the inside. Now I'm going to glue this one down just before I forget that I need to make sure I've got it the right way, because while it's on my mind I should do it, because otherwise I will forget and then I'll stick it the wrong way round and it will look weird. So let's get this down now. That's fine, then we can put that to the side for the moment, and then I've got some of the gold edged shaded spruce ribbon as well. So that I need to remember that goes around the cherry cobbler before I stick it down. So I have used the Celebrate the Season from the stamp set. So I used cherry cobbler for that. So let's do that first. And don't need scraps of paper in there. And we're just going to go in the middle because we're going to cut cut these pieces, well, this piece, it's only one piece. We're just going to cut on an angle. So let's put that aside. Now, what you can do if you want more than one colour on your image. Now let's see, is this one big enough? Yes, it is. All right. So what you can do, and I'm going to use Old Olive, Shaded Spruce, and Pretty Peacock. So what you want to do is start with your lightest colour first, and we're going to ink that up, and you want to ink up the whole stamp. I just want to make sure I've got enough. I'm not as concerned about the outside edges because they're going to have other colours added, but I want to make sure there's enough in the middle. And then you then go to whatever your next colour is. So I'm going Shaded Spruce, grab a dauber, pick up some ink, and depending on, so I'm going to leave most of the sort of the center in Old Olive, and then I'm just going to ink up around sort of the next layer with the Shaded Spruce. Now you can, if you're concerned about contaminating your ink pad with any of, say, the Old Olive, you can just wipe off some of the ink on your scratch paper before you go back. And so add as much or as little as you want, depending on how much of that particular color you want, and how how much of the image you want with that, and also how dark you want it. And the good thing, one of the things I like with this method is, a bit like a snowflake, everyone is going to be slightly different. And then we come in with the Pretty Peacock, and same thing again, ink it up, and this time I'm going around the very edge. And for those who saw my video from last Friday that I posted from Funfold Friday, this is the technique I used on the snowflake version of the Shutterfold card. So if you want to see what it looks like on a finished card, go and check out that video. It's on both Facebook and YouTube, and you'll see it on a finished card. I think I used the same colors or similar. Because I was using the same paper, so it would be along the same lines. But all right, so then now you do have to be careful. Well, not so much careful, but because this is, and I'm going to stand up, so excuse my head if it ends up in the camera, but I do find this this particular stamp can be difficult sometimes to get a solid image, so I do like to rub over the block, basically with something that has a firm but smooth or slippery. Oh, my camera is moving. That is not supposed to happen. Let's see if I can get that back. Sorry about that. that is not meant to happen. I turned off all those features because I did not want that happening. All right, let's see how we look. Alrighty, so you can see, let me zoom in. So you can see that you've got the old olive in the center, and then you've got the shaded spruce, and then the pretty peacock around the edge. So you can do that with any combination you like. I think I may have done garden green and then shaded spruce in the Fun Fold Friday card rather than the pretty peacock, but you can use whichever combo you like. And if you have and particularly with the larger stamps like this, if you've got the Stamparatus or any other stamp positioning tool, that can be really helpful to re-stamp if you need to. Although just bear in mind, if you're adding different colours, it's going to, you're going to sort of mix them up a bit. But if they're similar colours like these, it's you may actually get quite a nice effect. All right, put that to the side for the moment. Let's bring this back. So we need, now I need to remember to add my ribbon before we stick that down. And this is very thick ribbon, so I actually often do a double layer of the tear and tape on this one because it is so thick. And I'm just gonna hold that down. I'm definitely gonna have to go and check those camera settings, because when I set it up, I made sure that all of the motion detection AI features were turned off, because I didn't want it moving if I moved. I wanted it focused on my desk, because that was the whole purpose of that particular camera. And it seems to have possibly gone back to factory settings or something, so I will check that out and get that sorted. But first, let's get these backings off. And one more. Okay, so that is going in the center. Flip that over. Am I actually? Oh yeah, just checking I've got it. Well, either side is the right side. It depends on the look that you want. It is the side I want for this one. So let's stick that down on the card base. Okay, that is down, and then we will add this one. So that's going to just go in the center over the ribbon, Just make sure that's centered on each side. That's looking good. Then we'll get the dimensionals. So yes, I stamped another one on the back. Paper has two sides. There's no reason you can't flip it over and use the other side if you need to. And a couple more, and then I need to start digging into the edge pieces, and you absolutely should use your edge pieces. Actually, I've got one here there was an extra bit left over, and we'll chuck that down just because. And then the fun of getting all these backings off. And that is all of them. And then now I just need to, actually that was the other thing, to make sure I check which was the correct length, or correct direction that I wanted for this one. That is fine. Now where did my sentiment go? There it is. Hiding. So that is just going to sit flat across the center. You can add, depending on the sentiment that you're using and the length, if you want, you can add a dimensional at the edge. I don't think I did on this one. No. Just be mindful that you don't need to don't need to add glue all the way to the edge, because it's not going to have anything to adhere to once it gets past the edge of the snowflake. And then all that is left to do is add some more snowflakes. I'm using the same ones again. Just using the small ones for this one. Oh, and we just need to add the insert. Let's move that over there. Okay. That one down, and there we go. That is card number 3. Let me just clean off my desk. Now let me bring all of this week's cards back in. Oops. Alrighty. So these are the 3 cards from this week's class. Remember, you have until the end of Saturday to get your order in, but remember the free shipping offer is from tomorrow until the end of Friday. And if you are tossing up between joining and getting the kit and you're not sure what to do, please do reach out, and we can have a chat. Let me bring my camera back. There we go. Alrighty, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the projects. Next week's class is the branching out bundle. So until then, have a great week and happy crafting. Bye.